It's another exciting episode of the Business Roundup. This week, a number of exciting stories coming your way, like the forthcoming Mineral Wealth Conference, the Taxpayers Appreciation Week, and many more. Don't flip the channel, it's time for business. Atiak Sugar Factory will commence the production of sugar in May 2019. Horial Investments Holding Company and the Uganda Development Corporation made the commitment in Atiak, northern Uganda. The project involves establishment of a greenfield sugar factory with a crushing capacity of 1,650 tons per day. Let's take a look at that story.
After stalling for at least 2 years, the construction of the multi-billion shilling Atiak Sugar Factory in Amuru district has resumed. This follows the injection of 45 billion shillings by government through its investment agency, Uganda Development Corporation.
I must tell you, we had a lot of stress last year. But now as I talk, we have a lot of hope that this project is going to kickstart. We had a big problem because our growers were mobilized, people had planted a lot of sugarcane, and there was no hope that the factory would start.
The sugar company, located about 20 kilometers from Nimule, the South Sudan border, had faced a financing problem when Crane Bank, the main financier of the project, went under. The situation was worsened by the depreciation of the shilling against other foreign currencies.
Government took very long to agree on the financing of the project. So the cost of steel and things out of our control, even out of the manufacturer's control, has gone up. Yeah, the exchange rate or the dollar, the rate on 2013 that we had negotiated, and the cost for the factory have gone up. So when the government was doing a valuation, they were doing a valuation of the costs that were agreed upon in 2013.
The setup of the sugar factory is supported by the locals as well as politicians from different political divides. The Democratic Party stalwart, Norbert Mao, is one of them.
One day, when that factory is finished, it will speak for itself. We had a dream that these battlefields, where up to now we continue to get unexploded landmines and missiles, will become green fields.
I'd like to thank our silent hero here, Mr. Norbert Mao, because he's the one who initiated, identified this place for Amina. I don't know why everybody's quiet about it. So I want to thank him for that.
As the works resume, a key bottleneck to the smooth running of the factory is River Unyama.
Across River Unyama, the one you see right behind me, is where most of the sugarcane outgrowers are. Unfortunately, this river you see here gets overflooded, and that means the government and the stakeholders in the sugar industry have to work on this river if they are to sustain the production of sugar when Atiak Sugar Factory starts functioning.
Although government has promised to construct the River Unyama Bridge, beating the May 2019 completion deadline of the project seems to be a tall order.
So it would make transport very easy. Yet we need both the river and we need the road to go through. And you realize that the factory can make use of this water for sugarcane milling, and then later through ethical treatment they take back the water to the river.
Early this year, the Uganda Development Corporation bought a 32% stake in the sugar company in a bid to enhance industrialization of northern Uganda. Horial Investment Holdings Company, owned by business mogul Amina Hersi, is the majority shareholder. Dennis Sigoa for UBC News in Atiak, northern Uganda.
The 7th Annual Mineral Wealth Conference is slated for next week and will position the East African region as the leading investment destination in sub-Saharan Africa. Over 1,000 participants from across the globe are expected in the country, confirms the Chamber of Mines and Petroleum. David Matovu and Dennis Sigoa filed this report.
The conference in its 7th year is emerging as a pivotal point for networking and sourcing for investment in a region with a vast mineral potential.
We have a lot of sponsors for this event. Now the sponsors are not necessarily just because they give us money and we can hold it in an expensive hotel, although that does help, but the sponsors are there because of the interest in this sector. The interest in the sector is how to develop these minerals to ensure that all of us, and not just us, but our children and our children's children can benefit from what we have on the ground here and how we develop it going forward.
The Chamber of Mines and Petroleum has been on their forefront advocating for the promotion and development of Uganda's oil and gas and mineral sector with government and relevant stakeholders.
Africa is the second largest continent on the planet after Asia. All the other continents can fit into Africa, including India. The minerals that we export as raw materials without adding value can keep our unemployed youth very busy. They can stop Africans who are volunteering to go to become slaves in various parts of the world.
On the theme Eastern Africa, the continent's next mining and investment haven, this year's Mineral Wealth Conference, slated for the 2nd and 3rd of October at the Kampala Serena Hotel, will showcase the region's existing and untapped mineral resources. It comes on the heels of critical developments, especially in Uganda's oil and gas sector.
So as Chamber, not only do we sit here and advocate what we do locally, but we also advocate everything about Uganda outside.
Over 1,000 participants from 40 different countries are expected in the country. They include mining investors, insurers, financial institutions, policymakers, among others. Dennis Sigoa for UBC Business.
The Uganda Revenue Authority Tax Appreciation Week concluded yesterday at Kololo Independence Grounds. Deemed successful by the organizers, the 3-day event had its own disappointments, and many people expecting to get their national IDs were not successful and blamed it on the organizers, especially the revenue body.
For me, I've just come to register for an ID for the first time. I've never registered for an ID. But I'm having some challenges. We are not being helped. We are not as if they want something, I don't know. We come here, they say you come tomorrow, every day. Even I have already spent like a month in this process. Where you go, they say you go to that place. And even if you bring the requirements, they want for you to register for an ID. They just say you come tomorrow, you do this, you do this. Then now I've just spent like 2 weeks. Now I came today, they say you have to come tomorrow. And the registration, even they are saying that you have to go to your village and you start afresh. And I come from very far.
So people generally we are perturbed because we are told services are free. And then others come to get national IDs. They are told to pay, to go and pay money in the bank. We thought the immigration camp would serve us better at a free cost. We are told
it's about we're conducting fresh registration. By fresh registration, we mean first time registration for national IDs. Those ones who never got IDs before, you know. And this exercise is free of charge. First time registration for national ID is free of charge. Government gives an individual the first ID at no cost. But the applicant has to submit certain requirements, which is an LOC1 letter detailing details of the person. Now, replacement, one of the requirements is a police report where you reported that you lost your national ID. And then we need a receipt. We pay this money to the bank, 50,000 shillings, pay to the bank. All we need is that receipt, a police report, then we give you a form 11 to fill in. Fortunately, this form can be downloaded on the website.
There was a miscommunication that NIRA is offering free services. That's a miscommunication, and we apologize for that. But what NIRA is doing is to offer fast-track services at Kololo and fast-track the service at Kololo. But they are not offering a free service for replacement of ID. There's an amount which we can ask NIRA to tell us, and they are paying that amount. Yeah.
The Insurance Regulatory Authority this week disclosed the performance of Bancassurance since its inception in 2017. According to the IRA, 9.3 billion has been realized from complete submission of 9 licensed banks so far. Alhaji Kadunabi Lubega, the Chief Executive Officer of IRA, showed optimism in the insurance sector innovation as he handed over yet another bancassurance license to KCB, the 14th licensed commercial bank.
Bancassurance is taking shape, with the insurance sector regulator IRA announcing that since its inception, the innovation has added 9.3 billion to the insurance sector
policies. Close to 5,000 policies were written in terms of non-life by the bancassurance agents, and about 13,500 policies were written from the life side. So if that is 9, and that is up to June, we expect that when all of them have submitted by end of year, it will be something significant.
So far, life assurance is performing better than non-life sales of bancassurance.
But out of those 9 complete submissions, 1.8 billion Uganda shillings was realized from the non-life businesses, and close to 8 billion, 7.5 billion to be specific, was realized from the life business placed through bancassurance agents.
IRA Executive Director Alhaji Kadunabi Lubega explains that the contribution of banks to the growth of the penetration of the insurance sector is promising.
We are on a positive trend all through. But to put it in perspective, because penetration is the contribution of the sector to the GDP, to put it in better perspective, you may need to look at other things.
He said this while handing over the bancassurance license to KCB.
Thank you so much, Alhaj. This is that proud moment. Handshake.
KCB Bank has become the 14th among those licensed for bancassurance. It comes on board with a wealth of experience in the sector from Kenya, where bancassurance was introduced earlier.
Something that we knew we definitely needed to do. And I am certain that in terms of the resources that we have now put in place, they will enable us to be able to do a business very, very quickly. We have experience.
David Matovo for UBC.
Gulu will have a state-of-the-art logistics hub by the end of 2021. The hub, whose design and master plan has been completed, will be constructed by government and its development partners. Upon completion, the logistics hub is expected to improve and stimulate the capacity of trade in northern Uganda and serve the regional and international markets.
Government has allocated 24 acres of land for the construction of the Gulu logistics hub. The hub will be constructed where the dilapidated Gulu railway station is currently located. The design and master plan of the multi-million-dollar trade hub has been completed.
We are not only looking at setting infrastructure, but we are looking at also local economic development around the corridor to boost agriculture, to boost economic activities, so that people can produce goods for export. We should not only look at the corridor as laying the line, laying the road, and all that is enough, but which other economic activities can this road facilitate?
Although Gulu is centrally located and has the capacity to stimulate regional and international trade, its potential is yet to be exploited, says Dr. Marian Sepunya, a logistician.
The construction of the Gulu Logistics Hub is a first step towards the establishment of a much-needed freight center, or what we would call a dry port. And Minister of Works, please note, we want it as a port, not as a casual ICD. We would like it to be a port. So to us, this is a milestone. More importantly, the hub will attract business and development to this region and the neighboring countries, creating more employment in the freight logistics industry. It's of utmost importance that we embark on an aggressive agenda to build the capacity of stakeholders, develop the right legal and regulatory environment, and the right partnership structures now.
The project, supported by Trademark East Africa, the European Union and the UK Department for International Development, will be completed by end of 2021. It is estimated to cost about $9 million.
Gulu Logistics Hub is a component of several projects. If you look at it, it's just in several kilometers away from Elegu, which is the border with South Sudan, which Trademark is supporting government to operationalize. It's actually completed. But then Gulu is also supposed to get cargo from the meter gauge that is going to be constructed from Malaba to here. That is being worked on by the European Union and Uganda Railway Corporation. So they're going to be upgrading it. And the plan is to have these two implemented at the same time, so that as the logistics hub construction is being finished, the upgrade of the meter gauge is also completed. This is supposed to be a multimodal hub, actually. It's supposed to get both rail cargo and road cargo into it, so that we have high volumes and also enable a lot of trade and bulking and consolidation.
Despite the grand commissioning of the Gulu railway station in 2014 by President Yoweri Museveni, the railway line has not lived to the public's expectation. They therefore urge the implementers of the new project to ensure it serves its intended purpose.
Now, whatever you do in terms of development infrastructure, it must be preceded by physical planning. You begin with physical planning and then you end up with infrastructure. So it is important that once we have mapped out all this area, we have come up with the drawings. I request you now you submit all those, and then we go and cascade them into our structure plan so that it matches what whatever you are doing is emanating from our physical plan.
If today you have come and you have brought all these people here again, I don't want to hear a situation, I don't want to see a situation that we are yet going to do A, B, C, D. And yet this has been a long-awaited project. It's coming to 4 or 5 years now.
To achieve the land-linked status, Uganda needs an efficient and vibrant multimodal transport system, of which the railway is key.
If you follow this railway line in Gulu, you'll discover that it keeps on disappearing and reappearing. That is not the way it's supposed to be. The challenge is the railway line has not been put into good use. Dennis Sigoa for UBC News in Gulu.
The digital movement of Uganda is steadily growing, backed by initiatives like the annual Digital Impact Awards Africa, which aims at fostering debates and awarding businesses for their influence in the digital space. The keynote speaker, Dr. Magi Chigozi, congratulated the award-winning businesses and encouraged vitality in the digital industry. The digital environment of Uganda has seen drastic innovations in the past decade, especially in the transport, telecommunication and finance sectors. Innovations like mobile money alongside banking and transportation applications have revolutionized the way people earn and spend money in Africa, despite some challenges like the high costs that come with acquiring efficient digital equipment.
Africa is different. Different in the sense that the typical digital platforms that are created from the West and from developed countries doesn't exactly always play or work as well in Africa. Yeah, so you need to do a little bit more work to be able to customize it for the African market. Primarily because the bulk of the African market is at the bottom of the pyramid, meaning that we don't have such a big middle class to consume these digital services. So you need to do a bit more.
I think we feel that adoption is a bit slow, and with time it is increasing. But yes, it is a bit of a challenge.
The awards challenge businesses and government bodies to assess efficiency within their modes of service delivery by probing debates that focus on the creation of innovations that solve the unique problems of Africa, like poverty and low education levels. Dr. Maggie Chigozi appreciates the reception of various digital platforms, but is also critical about the role that regulation plays in the digital space.
I know the regulators are challenged. Who's moving faster than who in this sector? We have, the telecoms running very fast. We have the banks wanting to retain what they had and trying to run along with the telecoms. And then you have the regulator in the middle there somewhere trying to make sense of all this. And it is not easy, it is challenging, but it's fantastic news for us, the consumers, the users, because we can now save, we can now send our money wherever we want to.
Centenary Bank won the best mobile banking app. Craft Silicon took the best payment integrator, while MTN Uganda was awarded the best financial inclusion innovator of the year.
Innovators have used the digital space to make life easier for the netizens, the citizens of the digital. Bankers are moving to ensure so many more people are engaged, that they have services towards financial inclusion. You have seen several apps being made by even Ugandans. So it is important that the best in the digital space are recognized for what they do.
With newer innovations like blockchain in the pipelines, the digital era poses a wide range of solutions for the challenges faced in Africa. For UBC Business, Wadulo Mark Arnold.
1, 2, 3, enter.
And now on the international scene. The China Communications Construction Company has drilled the longest railway tunnel in East Africa. It's located on the outskirts of Nairobi, paving way for the next phase of the construction of the Standard Gauge Railway. The multi-billion-dollar railway line is expected to revolutionize the region's transport and logistics sector when completed.
23 months after work on the second leg of the Standard Gauge Railway started, workers and guests gathered to celebrate the breakthrough of the Ngong Railway Tunnel, a 4.5-kilometer stretch located in Embulbul on the outskirts of Kenya's capital, Nairobi. The tunnel is part of the second phase of the Standard Gauge Railway. Its construction was undertaken by the China Communications Construction Company.
With a total length of 4.5 kilometers, the Ngong Tunnel is currently the longest tunnel in East Africa and the dominant work in SGR Phase 2A. We have addressed the technical difficulty in designing and constructing in the Great Rift Valley. SGR Phase 2A has entered a new stage, laying a solid foundation for its inauguration next year.
The tunnel is a single-track railway tunnel with a clearance height of 9 meters and a width of 7 meters. Engineers use the new Austrian tunneling method of drilling and blasting to build the tunnel. This is the first time that such a method has been used on such a large scale in Kenya. But the tunnel is not just opening up the area and improving transport. Thousands of locals have found employment here.
Knowledge and skill transfer, job creation and growth of the local businesses are the cornerstone on which these key objectives are pegged. The large workforce has provided a market for an array of businesses ranging from hotel and establishments, hardware shops, rental properties, warehouses, and transport services.
With this stretch now complete, focus now turns to the next task. Construction workers are now set to begin laying the railway tracks further down the Rift Valley.
We had a small challenge in delivering the corridor for Section 1. But I want to tell you today that we have completed the reconciliation. We have finalized. He will have the entire route delivered to him by close of business tomorrow.
Besides Ngong Tunnel, 2 more tunnels have also been constructed along the Nairobi-Naivasha stretch, which is expected to be completed in 2019. With the completion of Ngong Tunnel, Africa's second longest railway tunnel, the second phase of the standard gauge railway is now fully on course towards completion. Wilkes Anyabwa, CGTN, in Ngong, Kenya.
In our Sounds of Business, we take you to Nile Brewery's beer production plant in Jinja. The NBL Heritage Plant has a total capacity of 1.8 million hectoliters of beer.
Grains we have at the moment, we have malt, we have maize and sorghum. Milling normally is to break down these grains to form what we call grist. And we use this grist for mashing into our cereal cooker. I'll leave you with a few words of inspiration as we wrap up this week's episode. I want you to remember something. Testing new waters is like taking risks. And I would love you to take risks with your businesses and whatever venture you're getting into, because it's the risk takers that are trendsetters. My name is Wadilo Mark Arnold. Catch me on the next episode, same time, same place. From the team and I, goodbye.